This documentary broadcast is brought to you by the Environmental Investment Fund of Namibia. The United Nations Development Programme, together with the Ministry of Industrialisation and Trade and their partners, the Environmental Investment Fund of Namibia and Standard Bank Namibia, launched the Sustainable Development Goals Impact Facility on Monday, the 2nd of November 2020. The Sdgif will be used to provide mentorship grants and debt financing to women and youth in business, social enterprises, and micro, small, and medium enterprises. Fulfilling the promise of the UN Sustainable Development Goals requires multi-sectoral approaches that bring together expertise from a range of perspectives. Harnessing comparative advantages and working within the context of respective mandates can collectively make significant progress towards realizing the vision of the SDGs. UNDP Namibia, in partnership with SBN, MIT, and EIF, initiated 3 Sdgif calls for proposals during the respective earmarked windows to provide competitive matching grant awards as well as mentoring, capacity building, and entrepreneurship development training to MSMEs.
The Sdgif, which is the short form for the Sustainable Development Goals Investment Facility. So it was deliberately titled like that because the idea was to put together a financing platform or financing vehicle this facility was targeted at micro, small, medium enterprises or MSMEs who are working in these areas in terms of creating employment, even doing their entrepreneurship in the areas of sustainable development goals.
So the Sustainable Development Impact Facility, or the Sdgif, is a women and youth-based match grant facility. The facility is a partnership between the Ministry of Industrialisation and Trade, the UNDP, Standard Bank Namibia, and the Environmental Investment Fund of Namibia. The facility funded businesses across 3 windows.
This supported about 100 MSMEs in various areas such as agriculture, which also speaks to the Sustainable Development Goals, manufacturing, again looking at SDG 8 and 9 as well, tourism, and also the environment related goals. Information technology was another area where the MSMEs were funded.
The grants are aimed at MSMEs operating in any of the targeted sectors of agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, renewable energy, information technology, and with a product or service on the market. By creating a 3-window structure, stakeholders are attempting to ensure that promising MSMEs can access capital through private financing and are supported, while those that show promise are also given an opportunity.
We are proud to announce that 70% of the entities funded under this facility are female-owned companies. Definitely, there's need for funding for SMEs, for women, for the youth, for the unemployed. A lot of people are thinking of going into the sector and try to make ends meet. We looked at businesses that were feasible and that would see that if we do fund it, there is a future for the business, and with the funds they wouldn't just be stagnant but would be able to empower and continue. Our biggest problem right now in Namibia is unemployment, and the fact that SMEs are being empowered creates jobs for those that don't have it.
The Sdgif is valued at 8 million Namibian dollars, and Standard Bank has matched the facility by availing optional loans for MSMEs. This has brought the total funds disbursed from the Sdgif to 3.1 million Namibian dollars for the Sdgif Window 1 grants, supporting 35 businesses for the agriculture, artisans, and nutraceutical sectors. The majority of beneficiaries are women and 66% youth. The leading economic sector that received the most grant applications under Window 1 came from the artisan sector, followed by agriculture. These funds were dispersed across the following regions: Khomas, Oshana, Irongo, Otjothanjupa, Qaras, Zambezi, and Kavango West. Agriculture plays a critical role in the entire life of an economy. Agriculture is the backbone of the economic system of a given country. Ingrid has been a farmer all her life, and she's a successful cattle farmer. Since 2014, she decided to branch out from the traditional cattle farming and venture into poultry farming.
There are other things that you can engage yourself in the poultry business, such as doing composting, doing feed production, doing egg production, meat production, equipment manufacturing. When I got the funding, I realized that I have reached my goal. My dreams were realized of putting up a upmarket or a very good chicken coop structures. With the money that I have got from EIF, I built this, what you are seeing, the infrastructures that you are seeing in my background, the stock that I ordered from South Africa in order to improve my production, and the fencing, which is very, very important, because there is no way that you can bring more than 700 chickens here without protecting them from predators. So EIF has made it possible for me to put up this fence that you are seeing here, a very good standard structure that I have never seen anywhere else. It was made possible by EIF under that fund. You want to expand it at a stage whereby you are providing for the whole of Amaeke region and Oshono-Jupa region as well.
Nutraceutical is defined as a food or part of it that provides the body with medical or health benefits, including the prevention and treatment of diseases. The nutraceutical field is emerging with the highest peak of research and development. Frederick has known the benefits of eating the hibiscus plant, as it is a staple food in his home village, and it is famously known as mutete in Zambezi and Kavango West and East regions.
Currently, we are manufacturing, marketing and also distributing the mutete hibiscus juice, which is a local organic juice made in Namibia with local ingredients. The juice has a lot of health benefits to it. I came up with this idea because I come from Kavango region. The hibiscus itself, the plant, we eat it there. We call it mutete. If you see the brand of the product, it's called mutete. The raw material is not a hassle to get. So that's the born idea. But when we got the mutete juice, we believe that in terms of value chain, it has more impact in Namibia than any other product we have started. No, the grant helped us. The grant was pushed mostly in raw material and rent. Bought raw material, we paid the rent and some operating expenditure, a little bit of marketing here. We managed to break into the market. Last year, August, we were able to get on the shelves. We didn't have supply chain disruptions. So we are speaking now, we are in a lot of shops.
The Sdgif grant gave Frederick the necessary boost to grow his business from selling door to door to having his hibiscus juice on the shelves at different retail stores. After completing university during the lockdown, there were no employment opportunities and the future looked bleak. 3 innovating ladies embarked on a journey to grow organic food in the desert in Henties Bay.
The company is an agri-business that produces vegetables and as well as do backyard gardening for urban agriculture. The company is formed by 3 young female graduates from the University of Namibia. We grow vegetables such as tomatoes, peppers, fresh chili, maize, cabbage, spinach, as well as beetroot that we supply to the local market, local supermarkets such as Spar. We supply to restaurants, and we also sell to local vendors. We got funding from the Environmental Investment Fund that was for manufacturing of hydroponic beds that allows individuals to produce vegetables in their backyard space. The hydroponic systems were designed with greenhouse plastic, which allows plants to grow under the harsh desert environmental conditions. With the fund, we're able to manufacture 3 types of hydroponic beds. We have the deep water culture hydroponic system with canopy. We have the drip hydroponic system with canopy, as well as the drip hydroponic system with no canopy. Through the funding, we were able to produce these hydroponic beds. And through the hydroponic beds, through the impact we were making through the hydroponic beds, we were able to acquire this garden where we are operating now. And also the profit that we make from the hydroponic beds helps us acquire inputs for our garden, and also just to increase production.
EIF is very pleased to have been part of this initiative, UN funding under Millennium Development Goals, basically earmarked to support SMEs, young people mostly, with their small enterprises, channeled through our government, Ministry of Trade and Industrialisation. EIF has been supporting this partnership as the fund manager and grant administrator in this process. UNAM graduates who've decided not to wait for office jobs and created jobs for themselves through this horticulture project. The support that we provided to them is actually not funding the production part, but to develop this appropriate technology, hydroponic technology for backyard gardening, especially in this harsh environment, coastal environment. They make, assemble and sell these plants to coastal customers mostly, who produce fresh produce in their backyards, on their balconies. Space saving, very innovative. It saves space, it saves water, and it's also movable, so people can move it around. So we are very excited to be associated with this, and would like to encourage more graduates from UNAM and NAST agricultural colleges and graduates in other disciplines also to follow their lead and create jobs for themselves.
The Sustainable Development Goal to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture, SDG 2, recognizes the interlinkages among supporting sustainable agriculture, empowering small farmers, promoting gender equality, ending rural poverty, ensuring healthy lifestyles, and tackling climate change. Moreover, the UNDP committed $3.3 million Namibian to the SDGIF Window 2 for grant financing of projects. The EIF approved projects totaling $660,000 Namibian under Tier 2 and a further $2.6 million Namibian under Tier 1 during the SDGIF Window 2, supporting businesses in the manufacturing, tourism and hospitality sectors. Under Window 2, 33 beneficiaries were successfully funded, of which 65% of the beneficiaries are female and 85% are youth. Tourism boosts the revenue of the economy, creates thousands of jobs, develops the infrastructure of a country, and plants a sense of cultural exchange between foreigners and citizens. Swakopmund is a tourist hotspot in Namibia, offering the usual travel activities associated with a desert town. Over the years, there has not been a change in the tourism scenery, and the activities have remained the same. Eco-gliding tours is the new cool activity to do, and both locals and foreign tourists enjoy it.
Eco-gliding tours is the first Segway company. We do guided tours around Swakopmund. Firstly, it's environmental friendly. Secondly, it's the fun way to see Swakop. Okay, we just wanted to add to the list of activities tourists can do that are eco-friendly
that are going to make them stay for longer in Namibia. And it's educational. Right now we have 4 permanent staff and we have 15 segways. We started with 6 segways. When we got the funding from EIF, we bought 10 more segways, and that enabled us to book more people at once. Like in this week we had a group of 14 people, which was our largest group, and it brought in more money for the business. We don't want to add to climate change and damaging the environment. We want to be as eco-friendly as possible.
Okongo Village connects the north and east together. All tourists pass through Okongo when going to the Okavango Delta and Victoria Falls. This has motivated John to open up a campsite where they aim to provide a peaceful place to rest and also to tell the tales of the village. John has been a tour guide all his life, and running a campsite comes naturally to him.
We're actually at Mbutu camp right now, and we actually started building this camp about 2 years back. That's in 2020. And actually, when we started, there was nothing here. It was completely nothing, and we just came up here. Mbutu, it's a tended camp. We're actually mostly doing the camping and also the tended camp as well. We have got tended rooms, and we also have open campsites. So everybody that wants to camp, they pitch up their own tents. But also, if you want to sleep, there are also tended rooms where you can actually sleep in as well. I'm a tour guide. So I actually have experience for 15 years. I've been in the industry for quite a long time. Before that, I had this in mind that I would like to open something in our community. And thanks to COVID, I don't want to say thanks, but anyway, so when COVID broke out, I actually had this idea like, okay, why can I do something like, a camping site in my community or in my area? And that's what motivates me. So I actually started building up this camping just in 2020, and because I actually thought that this area, it's so remote, and I've seen so many, because I'm a tour guide. I used to travel this road for a long time ago actually. So I used to drive from Rakana all the way to Divundu, and there was completely nothing here. So I decided, if I put up a campsite here, I will actually cut short a lot of people. So traveling all the long distances to catch up that side, they could, why don't they come here and overnight here? So that's the reason why I actually decided, okay, let me just open up a campsite here so that I can cut short people that used to pass through here so they can have a campsite here. I knew about the funding, and actually I decided to apply for the funding, and luckily I got the funding. And the thing is, I used the funding just to help me out in buying a lot of stuff, like the equipments, like the tents, and also the kitchen equipment, and also just for labor. We did a lot of things, I had to use the local people to help me build and also move stuff from places to places. We want to grow bigger. Yeah, we want to become a lodge maybe in a day. So we want to add more rooms or tended rooms to this area. So we also want to add more facilities. We'd like to add more things like maybe conference centers. We also want to add more activities for people to come and do here.
Due to its cross-sectorial nature, tourism has the ability to strengthen private-public partnerships and engage multiple stakeholders, international, national, regional and local, to work together to achieve the SDGs and other common goals. The facility has further dedicated 1.4 million to Window 3, focused on renewable energy and information technology. 9 businesses were funded under Tier 2 and 9 businesses funded under Tier 1, which totaled to 18 businesses funded under Window 3 overall, of which 70% are youth. Manufacturing helps raise living standards more than any other sector. Manufacturing generates more economic activity than any other sector. Aldo Timbers is a youth-owned timber processing SME based in Katwitwi in the Kavango West region. The objective of the business is to transition the timber industry into formality, thereby unlocking its real potential. Alder Timbers set up a sawmill that supports and supplies the downstream industries such as carpenters, joiners, landscapers and designers in the region and also countrywide.
So Miyombo is a sawmill. The sawmill is also known as a timber processing company. So what we do here as phase one, the company actually has 3 phases. We're in phase 1. We saw, as you see next to me, blocks. We saw those into planks. And we've got different machines that do that. We've got 3 types of machines because we want to make a perpendicular and parallel plank so that when the carpenters receive them, they've got a perfect product. And we got funding from the IF and the project to be able to start phase 1 or to grow into phase 1. Yeah. I got an advert and I applied. There were different windows and there was a window for manufacturing which I applied for. And then, well, I already had equipment and I was running a bush operation, a bush sawmill. So the funds allowed me to secure the lease in the facility that we are now. This facility was built by government in 2018. And also allowed me to just buy more workshop equipment, and there are 2 machines here that we bought just to be able to produce what I would say the perfect plank. Okay, we employ 15 people as it is. We're actually the largest employer in this settlement. We employ women, right? We employ some with disabilities. So it's brought quite a change to the place. Everybody appreciates what we're doing. And also to our suppliers. Never could they import or export timber to Namibia. Now, for the very first time, we are importing timber into Namibia and processing it. Yeah, and also why manufacturing is such an important activity and why we emphasize on it is because it has a very high economic multiplier effects. So like $1 spent in manufacturing, has say $3 or $4 in output. So that's why we should really focus on manufacturing, making our own products. It also helps us against other shocks. For example, in COVID, when we couldn't get access to certain products, we could then, use our own.
An entrepreneur who started working on sustainably harvested timber, somebody called Aldo in Timbers, and they've started a good amount of value addition. And that is a very critical message which goes out, that Namibia starts to add value to its resources rather than just become an exporter of raw material. So they start adding value, and this company is actually showing that the natural resources, how they can add value to this. And this company, this is dealing in timber products, but it's adding value, is getting ready to export as well.
Linda P. Creation is an amazing success story made possible by Linda herself. Linda has always wanted to do something significant and relevant in her community. Little did she know she will be manufacturing detergents. Linda is the only person who manufactures detergents in Windhoek, and her detergents are price-worthy and it's well loved by the locals. The demand is soaring and she has to work harder to supply many of the major retail shops.
I love being an entrepreneur. It's actually good working for yourself. I always wanted to do something for myself. And same time, I was doing research and studying the market. What do the market want? What do the people want? And I've discovered that one of the common thing that is lacking in our society that people need is cleaning materials, which is detergent. 95% of our products in Namibia are imported. Therefore, I decided to at least assist our country or come up halfway, to produce something locally. We used to manufacture manually, and it really assisted a lot because we got the drums, we managed to buy the drums, and we bought some raw materials. The raw materials were paid, and it really assisted us to pick up and to be able to supply at least most of the stores that needed the product. So it really helped for us to pick up from where we came, from where we started or where we were to where we are now. Before the UNDP funding, we could only supply certain shops, which were about three shops. And then after that, we managed to supply 57 shops countrywide, which was a really big pickup. The sale increased, production capacity increased, and yes, we really did pick up. Our production before was quite very slow, and most of the stuff were manual,
and we couldn't order products in bulk. We're more likely to order in small quantity, but now we could, after that, we could order in bulk. My future aspiration is to see this product worldwide. I would love this. Mostly my kitchen captain should flourish across the world.
The facility of Sdgif, from the EIF perspective, I think it is an initiative that we are really proud of to associate with. The fact that we are dealing with young entrepreneurs mostly, that is the focus. We want to invest in those that are being innovative, coming up with new business ideas. And what we have learned from here is that there is quite a number of initiatives that is happening in Namibia. I would want to single out one of the entrepreneurs, very impressive, from the site visit that we had. The business name is Linda K, who started with a company which is actually manufacturing body wash, the sunlight so-called that we use, but she calls her Captain Kitchen. You know, that is now the dishwash that we are using in our kitchen. We would want to have more of her in Namibia. Apart from the challenges that she's faced with, she have really demonstrated to us that she owns her destiny in terms of business. Our youth should not give up. They should push. Linda P is really one of the business I should actually emphasize for other youth to learn from.
Liz Murangi is doing all she can to provide affordable building materials to the community of Epukiro in the Omaheke region. Due to so many factors, the majority of houses in Epukiro are made from zinc material which is not conducive and it doesn't look very appealing. The vision of Lancaster Trading Enterprises is to become the preferred choice for the provision of construction materials in Epukiro constituency and the leading brand for the concrete bricks manufacturing industry in Epukiro.
We actually manufacturing bricks, interlocks and blocks, and we are based in Epukiro constituency. As a born and bred of this area, I carefully saw the needs of the building materials here. What they use here, it's actually zinc houses, and they are trying their migrating from the zinc houses to the bricks. And since everyone is trying to develop, the place is developing, the houses in this area is actually not in a really good condition. So everyone we're trying to bring the products to the community for their betterment. The locals, they travel to Khopapes, which is about 140 kilometers, a bit far and time consuming and very costly on the transport as well. So by us coming here, I think it will cut the cost and making it easier.
The Sdgif grant has financed a lot of MSMEs with manufacturing potential, as this sector will create progress towards reaching SDG goals. Information technology helps to build and grow the commerce and business sector and generate maximum possible output. Young Engineers of Namibia are part of a global IT brand that provides IT solutions to the young, and they are using an international curriculum. They operate after-school programs, and their mission is to prepare 4 to 15-year-old students for the changing demands of the 21st century workforce.
We give science, technology, engineering, mathematics to kids by means of coding and using Lego. So what they do is they build different models. We actually have different programs where we have Brick Challenge, Algo Play, robotics, where they do a bit of coding, and many others as the level goes up. So what we do different is, because the kids do actually learn just the basic principle of engineering and technological items, and then they relate and they'll be able to code them and also understanding how they work. In Namibia, at the moment, we actually not a lot. It's about 3 organizations, including us, that are doing that. And this, we're doing it through education, and we do it at different schools. We really want to see ourselves putting these programs throughout the schools in Namibia, also considering the 4th Industrial Revolution, where we want really ourselves and the coming generation to be able to put the country to speed in terms of industrialization, manufacturing, coding, and all those things. So we really want, in terms of a fund that Sdgif has given us, that somehow have helped us propelling us by really buying more equipment.
ICT is capable of strengthening the means of implementation for the SDGs by fostering international cooperation and coordination, promoting technology transfer, capacity building, strengthening multi-stakeholder partnerships, enabling data monitoring and accountability. The grant funding is provided by the UNDP to the tune of $8 million Namibian dollars, and it is intended to incentivize financial institutions to provide affordable long-term loans so that funding becomes more easily available to enterprises. The expected development impact across the components of the initiative is the creation of new decent jobs in Namibia, retooling and skilling MSME owners to increase their entrepreneurial success rate and have a multiplier effect through the creation of indirect jobs and improved livelihood opportunities.
So we want to thank our partners, the UNDP, for providing grants for the facility. We want to thank Standard Bank, which was basically our match grant partner. We want to thank the Ministry of Industrialisation and Trade that made all this possible through their policy as well as fundraising activities. And lastly, the Environmental Investment Fund of Namibia that basically played a huge part in the implementation of the actual facility. Lastly, we would also want to say thank you to all the beneficiaries without which the facility would actually not be possible. Thank you.
No, we are a long-standing partner for Namibia, the government and the people of Namibia. We've been here since independence. Since before independence, we've actually been supported, and as I said, our mandate is to work with the people and the government, to support the priorities, the national priorities, and we will continue to work with them. We are not donors, but we are development partners. We try and get whatever resources we can to support the country, but we work alongside the government and the people. So their priorities are our priorities. So within our own comparative advantage and technical capacities, we support them.
This documentary broadcast was brought to you by the Environmental Investment Fund of Namibia.